Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and you are watching Saturday Stitching, where every day can be Saturday if your stitching is going well. Um, Today, I am not doing video alone, as you could see if you saw the screen blink just a minute ago. That is my daughter, Maya. So I'm going to let her speak for a moment. Go ahead, Maya.
Hi, I'm Maya. I'm her daughter. This is a lot more awkward than I meant to be. I live a bit further away from her, which is why we're doing a bit of a video chat thing. And don't mind my sister in the background. I'm getting my hair done because I don't know how to plan things properly. But I have a small business doing henna and other crafty things that we shall talk about later after all the yarn stuff.
Okay, so that's daughter mine, number one daughter, whatever we want to call her. As always, I'm going to front load with the yarn stuff. So those of you who are here just for the yarny goodness, you can get that up front, and then you can leave if you don't want to hang around for the chit chat. Okay, so I haven't gotten a whole lot done this week. As I mentioned in previous videos, my goal this year, the long-term goal, is to try to reduce the amount of what I call scrap yarn. Um, I should have another name for it because really it's yarn that people have given me, as I've said before, either from cleaning out closets or something like that. That is at least 90% of the yarn I have is
I'm
yarn that
gonna
people
pause for
have
just a
given
minute.
me.
We actually have a viewer. There is a viewer named Gray in the chat.
Okay, I think Gray is a new subscriber. I think she just subscribed
Well, hello,
this week.
Gray. I'm also live the awkward life in the chat. So if you see things going off in the chat, that's me.
Well, hello, Gray. Nice of you to join us. This is really casual here because I never expect anybody to show up for the chat. So we're just here to record this video because it's easier to do it live. Um, and especially with my daughter, it's easier to do it in Google Hangouts. Hopefully, if this goes well, she and I will do this more often because, as she mentioned, we live 2 hours apart from each other and I don't drive. So I really only see her when we go to pick up my other daughter, the one who's doing her hair right now, because they both live in the same area. So when we go to pick her up, we stop by to see her. That's once or twice a year. So it's nice. This is family bonding, and you just get to watch a little bit of it. So as I said, the majority of my projects are a majority of my yarn is yarn that has been given to me from somebody else. And so it's not colors that I've picked, not colors that are really even my taste a lot of times. But when I started getting back into, I mean, seriously getting back into knitting and crocheting, it was about 25 years ago, because it was when Maya was a baby, actually. So I took whatever yarn anybody would give me because I didn't have a lot of money. So if somebody wanted to give me free yarn, I was like, yes. So I ended up with a bunch of yarn. Now, in that interim time, I have donated yarn, like when they were in elementary school and the art teacher needed yarn, I've donated that sort of thing. But I still ended up with, because like my mother recently stopped crocheting and sent me a huge box of yarn, and her tastes are slightly different than mine, so it's a lot of stuff. So all that is to say is that I have a lot of yarn that, not, the balls are bigger than what you would consider a scrap. For instance, um this this is not necessarily a full skein of yarn, but it's a whole lot more than a scrap. And so I need to do something with that. Or, and then I have balls like this, which I see on the camera is coming out blue. This is actually purple. But so I have anything anywhere between those two sizes that I need to use up. So I decided to do a crochet along, And as I mentioned, for the past couple weeks, I'm doing the 2019 Scrap Busting Sampler Afghan Crochet Along at Unraveled Mitten. And so the only thing that I have finished this week, this is the only FO this week, and it still has some ends, so it's not totally an FO, is this Afghan square. This is in a herringbone stitch, and it's got a row of single crochet. It's a herringbone half double crochet if you go to her website. The colors, because my camera is shite, the colors are not true on the camera, but this is a lilac, a very pale lilac color, and this is like a dusky purple color. Um, as I did last week, I will take a picture and put it on my Instagram, which you'll see the link in the notes after the live stream. I'll put a picture on my Instagram so you can see truer colors because I don't have good colors on here. So this is the only thing I finished. I had to rip it out after last week's video. I had to rip it out yet again because I got about this much done and then realized that I had it 15 inches and the squares are supposed to be 12 inches. I don't know how that happened, but I had to rip it all out and start all over again. So at this rate, because she's giving like 2 clues a month, so like every 2 weeks there's another clue. So by the time I finished this square, the other clue was already out, and a new clue is going to be out this coming week. And so I'm on the second clue right now, which is the whip that I'm working on, but I'm not very far, as you can see. But I think I haven't measured it, but I think at least I'm at 12 inches this time instead of 15. So I'm doing good at least on this. Yeah, I'm close enough. I don't know if I'll have enough yarn. I'm supposed to do this all in one solid color. This is how much I have left of this yarn. Plus, I think I might have one tiny ball like that of this yarn. So I'm playing yarn chicken. But if I don't have enough to finish this square, if I have enough to at least finish the square part, then I will just use more of this purple to do the border. So I'll have two squares that are in the same color. And then after that, I'll either be starting on the third square. It looks like at this rate, the only thing I'm going to get done this year is working on this Afghan because it seems like it takes me 2 weeks to finish a square. So, but if I can speed that up somehow, then I might work in some other stuff to do. I have this, I'm going to share my screen because I have this one um, pattern that that showed up in my email. I subscribed to the Red Heart emails. So I have this one pattern that showed up in my email. Okay, this is the pattern. It's the All That Chic Throw. And you can get it on the Red Heart site, but this is their picture. On Ravelry, it looks like only two people have started this. This pattern came out in August of last year, and only two people have started this, and nobody has finished it, at least not on Ravelry. But I would like to, because you work these medallions separately, but then you join as you go. If you can see the little corners, you join as you go. So there's no sewing 150 medallions together at the end. So that appeals to me. I like the look of this, but I also like the idea of not having to sew all these together at the end. Because I've seen similar patterns to this that I have saved in my Ravelry library, but I don't like the idea of making 150 medallions and then sewing them together. So that is on my list. I'm also thinking of, let me see, bear with me just a second. How's the hair coming over there, Maya?
It's coming all right. It's we should have gotten started earlier.
So she's still on you for on the first row at the back of your head.
Yeah. Yes, yes, she is. But like
Okay,
I said,
this, if you can see the screen, this is the um, square that I'm working on right now. And I think it should go fairly quickly. I'm about right here on the very bottom. And like I said, if I have enough yarn to go around the main square part, then this border part I'll just do in the dark purple if I run out of yarn. So that's the plan. So hopefully I can get that done by next week and start on the third square when she releases it. And who knows what color is going to be. I'm trying to resist the urge to completely match the colors and just grab into my bag of yarn mess and just grab a color. Because the more I dilly dally with it, the more I the less work I get done. It's very easy for me to just dilly dally, and not get any work done. To look at patterns more than I actually knit. As you can see, this is my queue on Ravelry. I only put 3 things. I started last year just putting 3 things in the queue at a time so I don't get overwhelmed and so that I can have something to go back to. Um, so I have a sense of accomplishment. So I'm trying to put small things in the queue, maybe 2 small things and 1 big thing in the queue at a time, so I can try to get some of my whips done. But this has been sitting in the queue for quite a while. As you can see, I put it in there in 2017 and I still never got to it. But I have some cotton, little scraps of cotton that I don't really know what to do with. So I thought this dishcloth appealed to me because I need some more dishcloths in my kitchen anyway, and I like the look of this sailor's knot dishcloth. So that's probably what's going to come up next. And these are some pictures of other people who have made it, so you can get an idea of what it looks like. Because it's hard to see in that white. Um, so that's what I'm going to be working on. For my goal for at least the next 3 months, if not longer, is to work on small projects and intersperse with big projects because I can't bring myself to just leave those big projects there any longer. But if I just work on the big projects, I will get bored stiff because I've got at if you've been with me for a while, you've heard this before. If you've watched my old videos, you've heard this before. But I've got 2 Avatar: The Last Airbender Afghans to make, which those are 4 large squares, and I've still never even finished the first square on either one of them. Not even halfway through the first square on either one of them. So I've got those 2 for my twins. I've got a um, what's that? Deadpool. I've got a Deadpool Afghan that I haven't even started for my son. Okay, I've got the sports blanket that I've mentioned on here before. Not telling what team because it's still a surprise, but got the sports blanket that is still only about that much, and that thing is a king size blanket. So, but I ran out of yarn on that one. I ran out of yarn on that one because I made the mistake. I've told the story before of how I went with Mainstays yarn. I made the mistake of sticking with that yarn because it was cheaper, and now all the Walmarts around me seem to be sold out of it and not restocking it. And the Red Heart is not a very good substitution because even though they're both number 4 worsted weight, the Mainstays is slightly thinner, so they don't make a good substitute. But I'm going to have to substitute because I have 2 more skeins of mainstays left in the black, and I think two skeins in the white. And if I need more than that for this blanket, then I'm in trouble. Um, but that's it for me as far as projects that I have worked on. So if you came here for yarn, that's all the yarn there is, because I still have school and work and life. So I can't finish as much as I would like to. I'm trying to read I'm trying to make the yarn more of a priority because I want to finish these other things. But I'm human. I still get distracted by books and TV and games on my iPad and everything else. So that's it for me. So Maya, do you have anything that you want to show?
Sure. I've got a few things that I've been working on. I should probably explain more about what I do. Um, so I do henna tattoos is the primary section of my business. And I've got one on my arm that I can pick up the camera and show in a little bit. And then I also make jewelry and I make dream catchers. So I'm working on some jewelry right now. I've got some earrings that I'm making. Let's see if I can get these in the camera. Ooh, can you see them?
I can see them if you hold them still.
I'm trying to. It's hard. Let's get them maybe in the light. Nope, not working.
No, back over that way.
Okay.
Yes.
But they are, and they're on a chain, and there's the hooky bit up there. But I'm making them out of. I've got these cool little beads that are made from seashells. And so what I'm doing with that is wrapping them in wire and hanging them on my little doodad
Those are
there.
cool.
And then, yeah, I bought those beads. I went to Joann's and I was going with my boyfriend Wayne, for anyone, so I'm not just because I'm going to forget to say. So anyway, so we went to Joann's and I was like, I need beads. And he's like, well, what about these? What about these? And I was like, these are the ones I must have. So I didn't know what I was going to do with them at that point, but that's what I did. And then I also put some of those on a dream catcher because I make dream catchers as well. Chloe, can you hand me that one that's sitting right there? Yeah. So I've got, ooh, if you can see, this is a dream catcher that I am working on currently. Oh, it doesn't help that the back of my wall is white. But this is what I'm working on currently. I don't have any dangly bits or feathers or anything, but that is one that I finished a little while ago. And then can you hand me the other one? This is one that I'm going to finish soon. Oh, I'm going to have to back all the way up. But this is one that I'm going to finish soon. Mommy, you saw
Wow.
the size of this one, yeah. And so it's going to hang. I think I want to hang it this way.
Okay, what is the big white thing? What are you wrapping it on?
This is yarn. So this is a hula hoop here, and this is a hula hoop here. And so I did the weaving, the interweaving. I'll pull a little bit closer. I did the interweaving on the smaller hula hoop, and then I took yarn and weaved it in between the two hoops for the crescent moon shape. That is really huge. That is like my entire arm span. That's how big this is.
That's
And
really neat.
thank you. And then I've got, sorry,
That's
Chloe. I've got some
really neat.
I've got some quartz points that I got recently that I'm going to wire wrap into little quartz stars, and so I'm going to have stars and feathers hanging below the dream catcher, looking all mystical and hippie-ish because that's the area that I live in. Do I have
So
anything else?
here's a
Okay.
little bit of, well, I pressed the wrong button. Here's a little bit of her henna.
Thank you. That way I don't have to bring it up. And that is my Instagram. For those of you looking, that tag there, that Maya Mendy, that is my business Instagram. Oh, the cross was a fun one. That's the one that we did right before the cruise. And that's food on the cruise.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to some more.
Oh yeah, the dragonfly ear cuffs seem to be really popular, so I'm making more of those now as well. They're super fun to wear and easy to wear because I only have one ear pierced because I'm punk rock like that. So I need things to put on my other ear, and that is my way of getting around that.
You said these are popular?
Yeah, they're actually a lot more popular than I thought they were going to be. Like all the ones that I made before the end of last season, I sold all of them, and then I had to make like some extra ones because people were like ordering some ahead of time of like, oh, I've got a sister and a cousin and a mother-in-law that wants this, so can you make like three more of these for me? Like, yeah, they were pretty popular. And then even not the dragonfly ones, but the swirl one that you showed earlier, I had a friend that ordered a pair of those as well, which is pretty cool. Oh, that's one of my favorite ones. That is a design. So some of my designs are inspired by others. That's a design that I completely made up myself, and she was the first person to get that design. I was so happy.
Cool.
But yeah, so
So
that's what I.
you do good work,
Tanks.
which for anybody listening, I did not realize that Maya was so artistic because she wasn't like that in high school at all. She was a band kid in high school. So
If I had money for instruments, I'd still be a bit of a band kid, but I don't have money for that.
she didn't show any of this inclination. I'm trying to see if this will show the color better. Let's see. I'm pulling up my Instagram to see if you can see the color better of the. Can you see that, Maya? Well, I can't hear you. This is part of the problem with the Google Hangouts is that sometimes the other person freezes and you can't hear them saying anything. But if you're in the chat room watching the um, live stream, I'm hoping that you can see that these colors on my Instagram page are more true to what the colors look like than on my webcam. That's why I use Instagram. So if you want to see my stuff that I've done, it's better to see it on an Instagram than on this video because like I said, this video is does not look very good. It has something of a blue cast that makes everything look weird. So I don't know if my daughter is going to unfreeze anytime soon. So I'm going to check and see if I can look in the chat room because she might be trying to chat to me and I don't know. Um, but other than the things that she and I have been working on, let's see. As you can see, I'm not living that wig life today. This is all my nappy hair right here. So this video isn't going to go very long because having my hair done up like this gives me headaches. So I don't have my hair done very often because it gives me headaches. So let's see what we've got here. Let's see. Okay, Audrey Alexander. Okay, I don't recognize that name, but hello, Audrey. I like making mystery cows too. Mystery cows are my favorite because I feel like if you dole out the instructions to me a couple like a once a month or once every couple weeks, then I can do those. I can do that little bit. The project doesn't seem quite as daunting if I do it that way. Okay, I can't do that because I'm hearing myself echoing back to myself. Let's see if I can do something different. This is not working. But yes, Audrey, I saw your comment about that you like Maya's artwork, so I will definitely let her know. Her in case you didn't catch her Instagram handle, it's Maya MAIA underscore Mindy. I'll put it down in the show notes as well after the live stream. So check back a little bit after the live stream, and I'll have links to stuff in the notes. Um, let me see. Let's see. Okay, here it goes. Isn't this just riveting watching me try to get into the chat? Okay, especially since I can't see worth a darn. Okay, so maybe the color on this isn't that bad because looking on my phone, the color in this video isn't as bad as I thought. So anyway, let's see. Okay. Okay, I don't know if I can try calling her again because let's see. Let's try this here. Okay, let's see if we can get you back in here. And see, we tested this a few days ago to see if we could get it to work right. And of course, this is what happens. So I sent Maya a new invite to see if she can get back in the chat because for some reason it's not working. So right now it's just me. Oh, Audrey, have you been looking at my book reviews? Oh my goodness. And Terry, I didn't know you were in here, Terry. See, this is what happens because I can't see worth a darn. I have to take my glasses off to be able to read the chat. That's why I need my daughter back in the chat because at least she can read the chat. I can't read the chat. That's why I keep her around for. Okay, well, I was going to talk to my daughter about what she's been reading lately. Um, but since she's disappeared, what have I been reading lately? Let's see. Well, I read mostly. I'm trying to branch out. When I was in high school, I read a bit of sci-fi and I read mysteries, but nowadays I seem to read mostly romances. And I try to veer off the romances, but I still read mostly romances. But one thing I did read recently that is not a romance is, I mean, there's a little hint of romance in it, but it is not really a romance. Now I'm looking on my other screen. I've got two monitors, so that's why because this is my setup for work, so I've got two monitors, so that's why you see me looking over to the side, so I can look up stuff. That's another reason why I like using this Google Hangout setup because I can look up stuff. Um, Okay, yeah. So the book that I read most recently was, let's see if I can enlarge the cover. Book that I read most recently was The Slouch Witch by Helen Harper. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I put it down for a little bit and picked it back up because I have to force myself. I enjoy books a lot of times that aren't romances, but I kind of have to force myself through them because I've been in the habit of reading romances. So, but this book is about the Slouch Witch is about this. She's not super young. I'd say she's probably maybe 25. I don't think they say in the book how old she is. I think maybe she's roughly 25, something like that. But this is a world where it's in England and magic is out there. Everybody knows that there's magic. It's not like Harry Potter where there's muggles who don't know that the magicking world exists. In this world, there's magic and non-magic and they coincide, they live side by side. Okay, so like for instance, if there's a crime, as there is in this book, if there's a crime, then the um the human police, or well, they're all humans but some of them just have magic. The way this book describes it is that there is magic in the world and everybody has magic. But then there's some people who have such tiny bits of magic in them that they don't realize they have magic and they don't even really harness it. Like when they get that feeling that, oh, maybe I shouldn't go out to the club tonight, and then something happens at the club. That's magic, but they don't recognize that as magic. They just, so there's people who have tiny amounts of magic, but then there's other people who have larger amounts of magic inside them, and they go to school to learn how to harness it. So they learn how to use their magic. But everybody has magic to varying degrees in this world. So the people who are like the non-magic people or non-magic users, I guess you should say, the regular police will call in if they see something that looks like there's magic about it. They'll call in the magic police called the arcane branch, and so they work together to figure out what happened. Well, this girl whose name is escaping me at the moment because I forget books almost immediately after I read them. I remember that I enjoyed the book, and that's about all I remember. So this this okay. So this Ivy, I think her name is Ivy, has a lot of magic, and they hint at the idea, this is the first of a trilogy, and they hint at the idea that she may have more magic than even your the other magic users. um but she got kicked out of the magic school or whatever it is, the big magic school called, I think they call it the Order. And so she got kicked out, and so she's just a cab driver, and so she just, she does as little as she can do to get by. So her apartment's kind of shabby. Her gets her boiler breaks down and she can't afford to get it fixed, so her house is cold and her water's cold, and it's that sort of thing. Well, in the book they mix her up for somebody else who's supposed to be working for the arcane branch, and she gets tied to this person, and she gets tied to this person and magically bound to this person, and then they start solving crimes. But she doesn't want to work for the Order. She don't want to have anything to do with the Order. There's plenty of magic people who don't register with the Order or whatever, and so she's one of them. She doesn't want to be bothered, and she's of course magically bound to this straight laced person. And there's mysteries to be solved. It's pretty much like a cozy mystery. except most cozies, like there's a what the trend in cozy mysteries right now is books that are um books that are like they have punny names. Like it's always somebody who owns a bakery or a yarn shop or what's another one? I can't think. They make cupcakes or those are the two big ones that I can think of, either knitters or bakers. And then they go and they solve these murders. And I've tried reading a couple of those and they bored me to tears. I would have enjoyed those, I think, in high school when I was going through my mystery phase, but right now they just bore me. But for some reason, if you throw in, if it's a cozy, but you throw in some magic or you throw in some, um, if you throw in magic or you throw in um if it's vintage. Like I read Reese Bowen's books and they I'm checking the chat here. I read Reese Bowen's books and they take place in the 1920s, 1930s. And it's still a cozy mystery, but for some reason if it's retro, I enjoy it. Okay, Audrey, you say you're a new subscriber. I'm sorry I'm not checking the yes, Randy. Cozy mysteries are yeah. There's just something about I'm more interested in the characters. Like some cozy mysteries. Randy said that cozy mysteries are too blah for her. Some cozy mysteries are um. What am I trying to say? They'll have a love interest. It'll be an older woman and she'll have a love interest. Like I read one where she had an on again, off again with like the sheriff or something of the town. And since I'm a romance reader, I was more interested in her and the sheriff, and I could care less about the person who got murdered and who murdered him. So it was tough getting through that book. Is one of those things. But if you throw in some magic, then the mystery part is more interesting to me. Okay, Maya, if you're still watching, I've resent you the invite twice. So I don't know why you're not getting it. Try sending it to you one more time. So you can jump back in if you want to, if you ever get the invite. But I don't like, let's see, making it more urban fantasy with
Hey, are we
something
working now?
more fun for sure. Yes, you are working.
Yay, I'm back.
You're back.
Ooh,
So
hang on.
you
Let me mute
missed
you in the background.
so you missed all my rambling about books then.
No, I heard it. I turned on the volume on the live chat on my computer.
Okay, good. Good. Then you can continue reading the chat because as you can see, I can't see it.
Yeah, let's see. The most recent chat I see is Random Randy says making it more urban fantasy with something supernatural makes it more fun for sure.
Yes, I saw that one. And but Randy, see Randy, I know Randy. Well, at least I know her online, and Randy likes stuff a little bit more scary than me. I like some urban fantasy, but I don't want it to be like super. I don't like it to be super scary or super gory or something like that. And I definitely like it to be. I like it to be fantasy that's in the like this book that I just read, Slouch Witch, where they're in the real world with cell phones and all that other kind of stuff, but then there's magic too.
I believe that's called
I
realistic
and it's
fantasy.
what?
I believe that's
That's
called
urban
realistic
fantasy.
fantasy.
That's urban fantasy.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't like, but even with urban fantasy, there's some that go way far. on the other end. Like there was a what was it? I wish I could remember the name of this book, but they started in the very beginning of the book. You know how some fantasy books they create a whole different world, so they start with a whole different language from the minute you open the book,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to kind of keep reading to figure out what these things are, and that kind of turns me off. Whereas
Yeah.
this book that I just read, Slouch Witch, it was a bunch of normal stuff, and then they eased in some of the magic stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and but they were using terms that I could kind of understand, so it made it easier to get into it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you start off with, oh, Amy was a high hibbledy flarp of the gobbledygook, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what either one of those are, and why I should care.
It looks like Audrey agrees with you with the starting with a whole new world and not. She said, "Yeah, me too."
Yeah, I want there to be some magic, but I like it to be, mixed in with the real world.
See, for me, I'm a little bit the other way because it always gets on my nerves if, and this is like reading a book or like watching a show, even if it's realistic fantasy or whatever, and so they're in the real world, but they have like the little hints of magic, but like then it like won't show up for another like 3 chapters or 3 episodes or something. I'm like, no, 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 I'm here the magic though. What are you doing? Where is it gone?
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, once they bring the magic in, y'all better use it.
Like it's
Once
here, we know it's here. Get to it.
exactly. Once they bring the magic in, and then you get into a situation and you're getting your butt kicked when you could have cast a spell, then I'm aggravated. Okay, because now that I know there's magic and you could have cast a spell, let's get to the casting. Let's
Yeah.
not, don't waste time getting your butt kicked. That's kind of how I feel about that. So have you been reading anything interesting lately?
I haven't been reading much lately. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, though, if we would like to segue over that. Randy agrees with you in the chat. She said, yes, dummy, use a fireball, lol.
That's true. If you've got a fireball, you use it.
Sometimes that
Use it.
happens to us in our, so I have a Dungeons and Dragons group. They'll actually be coming over later, so we may have a bunch of interruptions in a minute. But sometimes we'll be like trying to solve a thing, and someone's just like, fireball the wall. And then Wayne is my boyfriend in the DM. And he's like, I was waiting for you guys to figure that out. Why were you just sitting here like reading these descriptions this whole time? You could have just blasted through it.
Okay, so you said that since you're not reading anything, which by the way, have you ever bothered to get your library card?
Yes, I just don't know where it is right now. I lost it in the move. We moved recently and I don't know where it went. I have the card and the library is within walking distance. I go down there like every couple weeks.
So if you go down there, then how are you doing anything without a card?
I mostly use the computers and the printer. I don't have a printer. But I have a card. They can look me up on file if I need to do something.
How much does it cost to replace your card?
I haven't asked because I don't want to admit to them that I lost it.
It happens all the time.
Why are you looking like you're going to sneeze?
This is me sniffing the air because your brother just got home with my Chinese food.
Oh, I want Chinese. I might get Chinese later. That sounds good. It's not within my calories at all, but it sounds good.
Oh, calories, schmalories. Well, no, I'm not.
That's
I
what I
take that back.
said.
You're trying to get healthy. So since you're trying to get healthy, I'm going to applaud you getting healthy.
4 pounds a day.
I don't care. I have stopped caring.
Anyway, we were segueing to podcasts, I think.
Yes, since you don't read any books.
It's easier to listen and do things. If
Okay,
if
so
Audible didn't cost so dang much, I would use Audible and listen to audiobooks. They want to take all my money.
so you go ahead first with the podcast.
So I have been listening for some reason to a lot of murder podcasts lately.
Ugh.
Don't scoff at me. So my favorite one right now is My Favorite Murder, which is by oh no, what are their names? Karen Kilgareth and Georgia Hardstark. And Karen is a comedian and actress, and Georgia she's been on a few like different shows, things like that. But they have a good bit of like comedy and banter and like improv and stuff. But
Did you say My Favorite Murder?
yes.
Okay.
Why are you looking it up?
Oh no, I'm not looking it up. When you started mentioning the names of the comedians, it sounded familiar to me. So
Yeah,
I
it's a fairly popular one, but
yeah.
it's a really good one. I don't know. I like the way that they explain things because some of my other murder podcasts, it feels like they're just reading like a report that they wrote on the murder. Whereas this one, it sounds like a friend telling another friend like a story that they heard like at a party or something. Like, oh my gosh, you got to hear about this murder that I just heard about. And they're both really really funny, so it's fun to listen to. The murders aren't that good, but I always have an interesting story, I guess. Every once in a while, people are like back to D&D again. We'll be playing D&D, and like some enemy will get their arms chopped off, and I'm like, man, you got to hear this story I just heard about this girl who got her arms chopped off. It's
Okay,
crazy.
well, do you ever listen to? Well, you used to listen to. Excuse me. The good thing about this, by the way, side note, is that I can put the camera on you and I can get a sip of water and nobody sees me guzzling from my bottle.
You could do that, but I also have no
Yeah,
warning, so I
that's
could
what
be.
I'm doing right now, huh?
I said I also have
What
no
did,
warning, so I could be making faces,
that's true. You could be making
thinking
faces.
that you're on camera.
Okay, poor Audrey said that she wanted Chinese but ended up with tuna. I feel sorry for you. Well, honestly, if my son wasn't so flush, he's the one who bought the Chinese. So, okay. So, have you heard of the podcast, The Horror of Dolores Roach?
No, what is that?
Okay, it is.
Oh, and it looks like our on the screen.
Do what?
Sorry, I was looking at the live stream. It looks like our cameras went off, but I think we're back now. I'm going to switch to, because I was using my data, I'm going to switch to the Wi-Fi and see if it makes it any better. It could be
Okay.
miles worse, but let's try it again. Continue.
Okay. I was gonna switch screens so I didn't have to see the palm of your hand, but you did it quick enough.
Sorry.
Okay, so The Horror of Dolores Roach, which, by the way, you need to keep track of stuff that you mentioned so that I can put links in the bottom.
Oh gosh, I need a pen. I need a pen now. These pencils
Well,
don't work.
you said my favorite murder, right?
Yes.
I've got tabs open for my stuff so that I can list it later. But no, this is a podcast I like. For those of you who don't know this about me, I like to find things, but oh, I think I need light.
That's
Is that
better.
better?
Yes.
Okay, I hope that looks better.
It does.
Okay. So I didn't realize it was getting darker in here. So, as a matter of fact, okay, we're on you for a minute. Oh,
I don't know what to do. I feel like I need to entertain the people. Ooh, I can show more things that I've been working on. So I got a hold of some polymer clay because I found some for pretty cheap on Amazon. And so I made this tiny little book charm. Can you see it?
Do the hand thing.
Uh, the, canst thou see it?
Back up just a little. Whoa.
Too much. Chloe's
There
trying to
we
help.
go. I know.
Dang.
There we
That's,
go. That's
but the
better.
little book charm, I have little skull beads, but it's got like little faux pages and everything.
Oh,
It's
cute.
adorable. And it's got the
Okay,
little
wait a
like
minute. You bought that or you made that?
I made it out of polymer clay.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a little skull bead because I have a bunch of skull beads that I got on a string from Walmart. You can put that back now, thank you. But I got some strings of little skull beads from Walmart, and I got a hold of some polymer clay. I still have yet to paint it because the making things isn't that hard, but then like the going to paint, because it's just a big mess, and I don't feel like
Yeah.
dealing with paint.
Yeah.
I
Well,
will eventually.
Randy said that it's super cute and she loves the
Oh,
skull.
thank you. I need to be reading.
Randy's into skulls. Randy's into skulls, so that's her thing. I kind of like skulls, but I like the this is the
Oh,
kind of
more of like
skull
the
I
Day of
like.
the Dead type thing. I've got a few
Yeah.
beads like that. I think I have some right in front of me actually, but I've got a few because that same day they had some of these. Oh, that's gonna be kind of hard to see.
Give me a second. There you go.
But I've got a couple
That's
of
totally
these.
her.
Oh, come on.
Back up just a little bit.
Ooh.
Better.
Eh. Anyway, but they're a similar style to that, but I've got a bunch of different like red, green, blue, because those came on a string as well, and I was like, I can do something with these. I'm sure I can.
And Audrey said that was nice too.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna work on looking at the chat more because that's my job. I got eyes. Let's see. Randy says I have a bunch of those howlite skulls in my bead box. Oh, that's cool. I need to improve on my bead box. I keep trying to like build my bead collection. I saw one of my YouTubers that I was watching said that when she was starting her bead collection, she would go to a lot of what are they called? Estate sales, and she would just get
Uh-huh.
like boxes of jewelry, and then she would break apart like the necklaces and things like that, and that's how she built up her beads. So I want to try to start doing that, but I'm having trouble finding estate sales and like finding ones that are like during times whenever I'm not working my actual job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, but back to the
I'm
podcast.
looking I'm looking and it is 5:45. You said your people were gonna be there. So do we
Well,
need to cut this short?
they're supposed to be, but they're not. We could, I mean, if you're okay with it, we can just keep going until people walk through my front door, which is
Okay,
right.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm good.
good. I don't care. Because my food will still be there. My homework will still be here. Which, by the way, my textbook, I went ahead and ordered my textbook and paid the shipping and had to have it sent to the house so that I didn't have to do. Because trying to get a textbook from my local school is a bit of a hassle. The main campus is 30 some minutes away, which that is if I have to take a lift, that is a $25 ride one way. Okay. So I go to the campus that is up the road. There's a satellite campus up the road, which is an $8 ride one way.
Oh, I think that's people
But
walking in my door.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, get over here. Don't let her out that door. Hey, come here, come here. Interruption. Buddy, come here. Thank you for catching her. Interruption with the dog. Come here. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh, you're good. Well, we're chatting. You are coming over her? Yeah. Oh, we're going to go see Wayne. Yeah.
as you can hear, we're about to wrap this up because she's got her.
They're going. The dog got excited because there's new people. You don't mind to shut that door. Thank you.
But well, thank you to everybody who decided to show up. I rambled too much, so we didn't get into the books and podcasts and things like that. But maybe next time, if I could get myself together, because I was supposed to start at 4 o'clock and I didn't, so that's my fault. So
it's cool. I started late too, so we're both running late today.
So, well, Maya, thank you for joining me today.
Of course. So are we planning to do this again together next Saturday?
That is the plan.
Aiming for
I
4 o'clock
am
again so people can have a time to look out for us. We can say that we'll be there at 3 o'clock, and that way, when everyone shows up at 4 o'clock, we'll be on time.
we are aiming to start at 4 o'clock. That is the goal.
Oh, sorry, that is my dog. She's too excited because we have a new person here today that she's never met, and so she's really excited.
Which new person, Chloe or somebody else?
No, she's met Chloe before. She was fine with Chloe. My friend Chris brought another friend, and
Oh,
yeah, so her way of saying hi to people is hi, bark, bark, pet me, bark, bark, let me be your friend, bark, bark, bark. Here, let me go. I'm going to need to go cool them down. So it was nice chatting. Everyone in the chat will be there close to 4. Check in at 4:30. We'll probably just be starting.
well, hopefully we'll be starting at 4. Okay. All right. Well, bye, Maya.
Bye. Chloe's saying bye as well.
Bye, Chloe. I didn't drink your wine. It's still in the fridge.
Have a good night.
Good night. Okay, everybody. Well, thank you for joining our little visitation session, which is basically me and her visiting and you guys listening along. Um, as you heard us say, we will try to be here. We will try to start at 4 o'clock. That's always the time we aim for because it's still light outside my window. Um, but we understand if you don't show up. That's fine. I know there's a lot of yarny chats that take place on Saturday night, so I don't expect you to show up for mine. But I'm glad that you did, and hopefully I'll have more to show next week. Bye, guys.